Madam Stирk, thank you for this interview. First of all, the mission has 24 permanent observers and 300 short-term observers. Is there any difference from previous elections in the number of observers, and do you expect this election cycle to be any different than the previous ones?
Well, we have a core team of 12 people here based in Skopje. Then we have 20 long-term observers who will be based in the regions throughout the electoral period. And the needs assessment mission has recommended inviting up to 300 short-term observers who will be here shortly before election day and will be visiting the polling stations and following the counting and tabulation and so on. I wouldn't say that this is different. This is quite a typical model, I would say, for an election observation. In terms, of course, we have the two elections running concurrently, the presidential and the parliamentary, and we will be treating those as two separate processes, but some of our final reporting may address certain, I guess, similarities between the two, where there are elements, common elements. Those will be combined.
Before your arrival here in Macedonia, there was an OBSE report about the country which mentioned possible political unrest. On what basis is that perception, and do you expect any kind of unrest during the election cycle or after that?
Well, the needs assessment mission, which was done in January, really reports on what they've heard from various interlocutors, from the state institutions, from political parties, from civil society. So it's not a commentary on the situation on the ground per se, but really rather what they've heard from a wide range of interlocutors. Part of our role here will be to be following the political situation, the campaign environment, if you like, and what we see. And as I mentioned earlier in the press conference, we're very much facts-based. We report on what we observe, and this will be reflected, first of all, in our interim report, which will be coming out about 2 weeks before the elections, and then in our preliminary statement when the elections are over.
How do you view the change of the electoral law for the threshold for independent lists on the local elections from 1,000 signatures to 1% of the population living in the municipality? Was this in OBSE recommendations, and how do you view it?
Well, part of our role here, of course, is to follow all of the aspects of the electoral law and any changes that have been taken place. This is the first day of our election observation mission. We'll be monitoring closely, certainly the legal framework, but also we'll be discussing issues with the Election Commission throughout the electoral period. And I'm sure this will be something that we'll be addressing in our reporting.
Thank you for this interview.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure.